2024 Annual Report UNDP in Thailand. This report is prepared by the United Nations Development Programme, made into DAISY NCC only book, produced by National Library for the Blind and Print Disabled, Thai Blind People's Foundation, on 18th June 2025, total 70 pages, read by Pinta Punsoni McDougall. Front cover: United Nations Development Programme. On the corner of the right side has UNDP logo. Underneath, 2024 Annual Report UNDP in Thailand. Inner page: a picture of bamboo walls as a nature-based solution at the Mercataiwan Palace to mitigate the impact of coastal erosion. Contents: Foreword, page 6. Our offer, page 8. Policy Innovation Lab, page 12. Climate Nature Energy, page 20. Sustainable Financing, page 28. Sdg Localisation, page 34. Social Inclusion, page 42. Agents of Change, page 52. UN Family, page 58. Rewards and Recognition, page 59. South-South Cooperation, page 60. UNDP Policy Insights for Thailand, page 64. UNDP Funding, page 66. Contributing Partners, page 67. Where UNDP Works in Thailand, page 68. UNDP Team in Thailand, page 69. List of acronyms, page 70. Forward: Towards an Inclusive Green Future. 2024 was an important year for sustainable development in Thailand. The country passed the first equal marriage law in Southeast Asia, issued Asia's first sovereign sustainability-linked bond, raising 30 million Thai baht, equivalent to $880 million, and became only the second OECD accession country in the sub-region. A development success story, Thailand is one of only 25 countries in the world to have half the number of people living in multidimensional poverty over 15 years. UNDP is privileged to have accompanied Thailand on its development journey over the past decades. In 2024, with a strong focus on leaving no one behind, we help Thailand to set and implement ambitious climate action and biodiversity conservation targets that support communities and livelihoods. We work to reduce the risk to people and poverty from future flooding and disasters. In a year of that saw the worst floods in decades and marked 2 decades since the Indian Ocean tsunami. We worked closely with partners across the country to localize Thailand's pursuit of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, help it to translate the goals into meaningful local action, and we amplified the human rights agenda with the business community, supporting Thailand's vision of an ethical, responsible private sector that goes beyond profit to work for people and planet. While so much progress has been made, Thailand still has important challenges to overcome, opportunities to seize, and success stories to share, whether on tackling inequality, cultivating a bioeconomy, navigating a just energy transition, or enhancing sustainable tourism that creates jobs and livelihoods in a changing development landscape. UNDP will continue to step up with creativity and innovation through social listening and inclusive policy design, such as led by UNDP and NESDC's Thailand Policy Lab, TP Lab, in 2024, and with an enhanced focus on sustainable finance and public-private partnerships for development. In the pages that follow, you will read a sample of our 2024 results across 5 portfolios: climate, nature, and energy, sustainable financing, SDG localization, social inclusion, and agents of change. These results were achieved with our government, civil society, and private sector partners and made possible by the generous support of UNDP's core and non-core financial investors. I look forward to another year of working closely together here in Thailand for people and planet in 2025. A picture of Neef Collier Smith smiling. Neef Collier Smith, UNDP resident representative in Thailand since July 2024. I'll offer a picture of Earth. Enablers: digitalization, strategic innovation, development financing, plus signature solutions, poverty and inequality, governance, environment, energy, resilience, and gender equality. Our strategic plan, UNDP Strategic Plan 2022 to 2025, is our development promise to help countries and communities to drive progress with people and the planet in balance. Its ambitious goals unite UNDP network of teams across the 170 countries and territories where we serve. Our signature solutions and enablers. Our strategic plan is guided by the Sustainable Development Goals and centered around 6 core areas known as our signature solutions. Through these, UNDP supports Thailand in meeting its evolving national priorities, addressing structural inequalities, and creating opportunities for a sustainable, inclusive future, whether it is climate and demographic changes, evolving geopolitics, or the AI and digital revolution. We work with our stakeholders to overcome the greatest challenges and seize the greatest opportunities of our time. Our strategy is powered by 3 enablers: digitalization, innovation, and sustainable development finance to help Thailand generate great ideas and ensure effective implementation. Our portfolio, based on Thailand's national priorities and its upper-middle income status, UNDP supports Thailand's transition to an inclusive green economy with strengthened human capital where no one is left behind. UNDP organizes its supports in 5 portfolios: climate, nature and energy, sustainable financing, Sdg Localisation, social inclusion, and agents of change. The SDGs at home and abroad. UNDP's flagship work with Thailand on Sdg Localisation connects local ideas with a global mission. It shines a light on Thailand's diverse opportunities and challenges at the subnational level to support increasingly effective policy and financing decisions. As Thailand builds its South-South operation, Sdg Localisation surfaces examples of Thailand's development journey that may have value for other countries north and south. A picture of a group of youth consisting of 3 men and 2 women wearing hijab sitting at the table, in their hands holding a card. There's a sentence: Young Local Heroes program by Youth Co-Lab and UNDP Accelerator Lab. Policy innovation, innovating policies and solutions. A picture of a light bulb. Why do we need policy innovation? Thailand's journey towards being a high-income country will be shaped by complex forces, from climate and demographic changes to evolving geopolitics and the AI revolution. Successfully navigating these shifts will depend on innovation, foresight, and agility. UNDP understands that to create more innovative, inclusive, integrated solutions, Thailand needs fresh, people-centered ideas from all over the country and beyond. In 2024, creating spaces for these ideas to surface and come together was the priority for the Thailand Policy Lab, UNDP Accelerator Lab Thailand, and Youth Code Lab. These strategic labs were created to collaborate with both government and non-government partners. By involving those who are most affected by specific issues, they co-design and test tailored solutions using new ways of thinking and implementing interventions at multiple levels. Introduction to UNDP's 3 labs. The Thailand Policy Lab, TP Lab, established by the National Economic and Social Development Council, NESDC, and UNDP, works with a wide range of stakeholders, from government to local partners, to transform public policy making into a more inclusive, innovative, and future-focused process. The UNDP Accelerator Lab Thailand is part of UNDP's global network of such labs. Accelerator Lab Thailand connects grassroots innovators in surfacing and testing their best ideas as part of the UNDP's lab network, operating in 90 locations across 115 countries. The Youth Co-Lab empowers young people to co-create SDG solutions through social innovation and entrepreneurship. It strengthens these efforts by fostering intergenerational dialogue and engaging youth in decision-making for policies. In 2025, these three labs will unite efforts, harnessing their platforms together as one of only 3 such UNDP policy labs in the Asia-Pacific region, embedded within and funded by the host government. A picture of a group of 10 women and men standing in front of a building. There is a sentence: the courtesy meet between Kani Winaraja, UNDP's Regional Director for Asia and the Pacific, and Danusha Pichayanan, Secretary General of NEDDC in February 2025. A picture of men and women sitting and standing up, holding their hands up with smiley face. There is a sentence: Young Local Heroes Program by Youth Co-Lab and UNDP Accelerator Lab. Our lab's mission: driving innovative, people-centered approach. In the picture, divided in 4 sectors from top to bottom: conventional approach, transformation space of 3 labs, innovative, people-centered approach and goal. Conventional approach: 1. Perspective, expertise-led linear. 2. Data and analytics, statistics, knowledge-based research, views of experts. 3. Tools, survey, conventional analysis model. 4. Science, economics. Transformation space of 3 labs. 1. Policy planners, TP Thailand Policy Lab, academia. 2. Government officials, UNDP, local communities. 3. Private sector, Youth Co-Lab, youth. Combined to the plan, 1 integrated policy innovation lab. Innovative, people-centered approach. 1. Inclusive and participatory, nonlinear. 2. Qualitative data, personas, views of people close to problems. 3. Future-oriented thinking tools, foresight, nonlinear problem analysis tools, systems thinking, portfolio approach, people-centered solution design tools, design thinking, iceberg model. 4. Anthropology, psychology, sociology, behavioral science, interdisciplinary approach. Goal: innovative, inclusive, and effective public policy making, modified from the direction of Shifting Thought Foundation Thailand Policy Lab Handbook, Thailand Policy Lab by NESDC and UNDP 2025. Strengthening public policy making process. The Thailand Policy Lab supported Thailand's 5th National Health Security Office Action Plan 2023 to 2027 with policy innovation tools, making it more inclusive and responsive to future healthcare trends. Through foresight, user-centered design, and social listening, it identified key healthcare megatrends and improved on-site and online services for the urban poor, elderly, ethnic communities, and the general public, benefiting over 40 million people. Policy recommendations on youth mental health, drawn from over 100,000 online messages, and a youth policy hackathon. In collaboration with the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Ratchanakarin Institute and the National Health Commission Office, were integrated into the Office of the Basic Education Commission's education planning. In 2024, over 8,500 government policy planners, academics, and practitioners engaged in Thailand Policy Lab's cross-border knowledge exchange platforms, Policy Innovation Exchange (PIX), focusing on systems thinking, digital transformation, and people-centered design. The exchanges drew insights from the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, the UN's Pulse Lab Jakarta, and the Public Policy Lab, a civic organization in New York City aiming to support policy planning with innovation tools and international case studies. There are 4 pictures consisting of talking on stage, questioning, and environment atmosphere in the event of policy innovation exchange. There's a sentence, Policy Innovation Exchange 4 by TP Lab. Accelerating SDGs through grassroots innovation. Cross-border grassroots solutions to air pollution have been generated by local communities along the Thailand-Lao PDR border, one of the areas most severely affected by seasonal air pollution. Using a portfolio approach and innovative thinking tools, supported by the UNDP Accelerator Labs in Thailand and Lao PDR, communities propose solutions ranging from repurposing agricultural waste to improving cross-border communication through both technology and everyday practices. These solutions were presented to the Department of Pollution Control of Thailand, the Thai Health Promotion Foundation, and the Northern Breath Council of Thailand, ensuring that local voices meaningfully contribute to national efforts to tackle this urgent and complex challenge. The same approach was applied to the inclusive tourism model, co-designed with people with disabilities, local communities. The team developed a scalable model that could help to distinguish Thailand as a high-value inclusive tourism destination. The model includes accessible features and experiences, standardized access ramps for people with physical disabilities, wooden models of historical sites for individuals with visual impairments, and innovative tourism services to support communities' livelihood. Innovating solutions with young generation. In 2024, 229 youths from 4 provinces, Mae Hong Son, Narathiwat, Pattani, and Yala, participated in the Local Heroes program organized by UNDP and Thailand Knowledge TK Park. With support from Youth Co-Lab, they were supported with tools and practices for social entrepreneurship to develop business ideas addressing local challenges. The program empowered them as future community leaders with initiatives such as Clean Air Heroes in Mae Hong Son, Zero Waste Heroes in Narathiwat, Circular Heroes in Pattani, and Innovation Heroes in Yala. Youth CoLab also focuses on empowering vulnerable youth groups in partnership with the Thai Health Promotion Foundation. The Inclusive Hackathon for SDGs was created to promote youth-led solutions addressing discrimination faced by young vulnerable groups. A total of 27 young people with disabilities, 54 young ethnic individuals, 72 young Muslims, and 70 young LGBTI individuals was supported with innovative thinking tools, incubating practices and solutions to build communities free from all forms of discrimination. A picture of a man in a wheelchair. In his hand, he's holding big oracle sticks. His friends are standing next to him. Behind them in the background, there is a carved picture of Lord Buddha. There is a sentence, Inclusive Tourism Prototype Design in Suphanburi Province. A picture of a group of young men and women sitting and talking to each other. There is a sentence, Young Local Heroes Program by Youth CoLab and UNDP Accelerator Lab. A picture of a man and a woman sitting on the sofa, looking at the big screen with pictures and a sentence, Policy Lab. This is referred to as a policy lab. There is a sentence, Kani Winaraja, UNDP's Regional Director for Asia and the Pacific, and Suriyon Thankichanukit, NESDE's Senior Advisor at Policy Innovation Exchange 2 by TP Lab in 2022. A picture of a big whale with its mouth opened out of the water. There are small little fish surrounding the water area. There's a sentence. The bride's whale, a protected wild animal and endangered species, is found in Phetchaburi province. Its population has decreased, with an estimated 50 to 70 bride's whales remaining in Thailand. Photo credit, Jittiwat Pornprasert. Climate, Nature, Energy, promoting Thailand's climate and nature positive future. A picture of a big white windmill. Enhancing Thailand's climate promise. Thailand was ranked as the 30th most affected country globally by extreme weather events in 2025. In 2024, many of the country's provinces experienced extreme weather, including some of the worst flooding in 2 decades, leading to loss of life, poverty, and economic opportunity. With an extensive coastline on the Gulf of Thailand and Andaman Sea, the urgent need to address the country's vulnerability to rising sea levels, the consequential coastal erosion, and other climate change-related impacts is intensifying. This urgent situation, however, drives Thailand's commitment to climate action to the forefront. Under the Climate Promise 2025, a United Nations initiative led by UNDP that helps countries align their climate pledges with the Paris Agreement's 1.5 Celsius goal, UNDP is supporting the UN country team to come together in support of Thailand's nationally determined contribution, NDC 3.0, with a comprehensive NDC mapping that identifies UN-wide support, synergies, and a climate finance network guideline that unlocks and directs finance towards impactful climate action, guiding discussions with the Thai government on delivering Paris Agreement commitments and keeping SDGs aligned. UNDP advanced Thailand's long-term climate strategies by supporting the integration of SDG objectives into national policies to guide long-term investment, policy, and sectoral transformation, to enhance climate reporting capacity and reinforce transparency and accountability. UNDP, with support from the Global Environment Facility, GEF, provided technical guidance to the Department of Climate Change and Environment, DCCE, on national climate reporting and national circumstance analysis, including the timely submission of national communications, NCs, and the Biennial Transparency Report, BTR, to the UNFCCC by the end of 2024. Adapting and building resilience to climate change. With support from the Green Climate Fund, GCF, UNDP is safeguarding vulnerable areas and communities while promoting climate resilience. In coastal regions, UNDP supported the development of community-level adaptation plans aligned with Thailand's National Adaptation Plan NAP across 4 pilot provinces, Rayong, Phetchaburi, Surathani, and Songkhla. These efforts have protected and restored 6.3 million hectares of forest land, benefiting over 2 million people who depend on these ecosystems. Climate adaptation measures include establishing aquatic resource banks and fish shelters to mitigate rising seawater temperatures, expanding mangrove and beach forests to retard coastal erosion, increasing community participation in marine and coastal resource management, developing sustainable marine ecotourism initiatives. In agriculture and water management, UNDP, supported by the GCF and in collaboration with the Royal Irrigation Department, provided the climate forecasting tool, the intelligence-based real-time decision-making model tool, delivering detailed, actionable insights for water management and agricultural planning to local authorities and 139,079 farmers in the Yomnan River Basin. This initiative has enabled precision agriculture amid uncertain and extreme weather, ensuring agricultural productivity at the national level in cooperation between the Food and Agriculture Organization FAO and UNDP, the Scaling Up Climate Ambition on Land Use and Agriculture SCALA project provided technical support to develop the Climate Change Action Plan for the agricultural sector CCAPA 2023 to 2027, implemented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives. Restoring nature, protecting ecosystems. Thailand's unique biodiversity, one of the richest in Southeast Asia, is under threat from human activities, jeopardizing not only local but also global ecosystems. With support from UNDP and BioFin, Thailand's Office of Natural Resources and Environmental Policy and Planning, ONEP, delivered its National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, NBSAP, along with a Biodiversity Finance Plan, positioning Thailand among 44 countries meeting their biodiversity commitments. On Nature Positive Economy, UNDP, BioFin, and the Biodiversity-Based Economy Development Office, BEDO, support local governments in Phetchaburi and Prachuap Khiri Khan provinces with budgeting framework that contributes to biodiversity conservation, guided by the UNDP BioFin's global biodiversity finance tools and practices, while fostering public-private partnerships that promote economic activities enriching biodiversity through tourism and local products. A picture of a woman standing in front of a large pond. In the background, there are hills with the sentence, "One of the community women at Khao Samroy Yot National Park, managing entrance fees to support biodiversity conservation within her community." Enabling a just transition to clean energy. To accelerate Thailand's clean energy transition and meet its NDC and long-term strategies, UNDP has spearheaded innovative solutions with support from the government of Japan, the SDG and EV Climate Credit Program, a platform involving 209 vehicles, demonstrated measurable results contributing to carbon credit markets, and the SDGs shaping policies that encourage electric vehicle EV adoption. At the policy level, UNDP developed the Just Energy Transition (JET) report, highlighting key challenges, insights, resources, and gaps in the clean energy sector. The report provides actionable recommendations for government and private sector engagement, ensuring Thailand's transition is inclusive and leaves no one behind. The Low Emission Vehicle (LEV) Ecology Roadmap identifies collective efforts to align automotive, energy, and climate policies for emissions reduction. What regulations and policies are needed to encourage the use of electric vehicles? A round picture divided in 3 sectors. In the middle, there is a sentence, "Environmental friendly transport." The blue part is upstream and downstream automotive chain, automotive manufacturers, auto mechanics, dealers, and vehicle dismantler, tax system, law, regulations. The red part is energy system for road transport, fuel production, oil, electricity, and water, energy policy, taxes, regulations. The orange part is environmental and carbon credit policy, carbon credits, boost behavior change in large companies and the private sector, carbon credit calculation, authorization, certification, and trading, domestic law, international law, other policies. From the report on supporting NDC targets through incentivizing the use of electric vehicles by UNDP, OTP, and the Government of Japan, 2024. Key results on climate and nature. 1. Platform guiding national climate mitigation through low-carbon electric vehicle adoption. 7. Plans, policies, and guidelines on climate and nature adopted by the government. National Climate Change Action Plan for the agricultural sector. Provincial Climate Adaptation Plan 2023 to 2027 NBSAP. National Biodiversity Finance Plan. Results-based budgeting guideline, repurposing harmful subsidies, policy brief, subnational sustainable finance model. 82,000 plus people benefit from climate and nature interventions across Thailand. 7 million plus hectares of land in Thailand climate protected. 30,000 plus hectares of mangrove forest. 700,000 plus hectares of marine national park. 6.3 million plus hectares of forest land. Building coastal resilience with nature-based solutions. Suthep Manit left, Biya Ampaniyom Nido, and Biya Saia right, are farmers and fisher persons in Thailand's coastal provinces, where climate impacts like coastal erosion and sea level rise affect their livelihoods. With support from UNDP, they have adapted their fishing practices using nature-based solutions, such as crab banks, while also promoting community-based, sustainable tourism to build resilience to climate change. A picture of Suthep Manit, Biya Ampaniyom, and Biya Saia. Climate resilience from home to farm. In Uttaradit province, Blair Bunsuwan, right, and Virinda Yimsuan, left, are both experiencing the impacts of climate change on their rice farming. UNDP is supporting them with climate resilience agricultural practices, including techniques such as alternate wetting and drying, which help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. They have also learned about the fair distribution of work between men and women, both at home and on the farm. A picture of Blair Bunsuwan and Virinda Yimsuan. A picture of a person holding a newspaper with a girl talking about climate. There is a sentence. Weather Kids campaign in Thailand broadcast across the billboards at Bangkok's major intersections in 2024 to promote climate action. A picture of two fishermen holding each other on the boat. There is a sentence. Two fisher persons in Koh Tao benefited from a crowdfunding program by UNDP Biofin and Krung Thai Bank. Sustainable financing, investing in people and planet. A picture of coins, starting from big stacks to small stacks. Aligning national investment with sustainable development. The Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) and the Paris Agreement targets won't be achieved unless we channel resources at scale and speed to both people and the planet. According to the 2024 UNCTAD World Investment Report, developing countries face a staggering $4 trillion gap in sustainable development investments. In response, UNDP is supporting Thailand in assessing, mobilizing, and realigning domestic, international, public, and private financing sources to drive investment towards the SDGs at both the national and subnational levels, guided by the Integrated National Financing Frameworks (INFFs). Meanwhile, amidst growing risk from climate hazards under the Insurance and Risk Finance Facility (IRFF), UNDP supported Thai authorities in mitigating climate risk and enhancing climate resilience through insurance and risk finance mechanisms. The Insurance and Risk Finance Roadmap for Thailand, launched in December 2024, strengthens disaster risk strategies with an inclusive approach on disaster management capacity of authorities, with support from UNDP and the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation (DDPM). 53 government officers from various agencies were trained to deploy insurance and risk finance mechanisms for better disaster management, resulting in the ongoing pilot subnational project on insurance and risk finance solutions for public assets protection, making Thailand one of the first 34 countries to set plans in motion to bring insurance protection to those in need. Thailand's first sustainability-linked bond, valued at $877 million in 2024 and $848 million in early 2025, was issued as part of a $5.85 billion bond plan aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions. These milestones were supported by technical assistance from UNDP, particularly in verifying the bond's KPIs. Aligned with global frameworks, this initiative has delivered strong investment returns, directing financial flows toward national sustainability targets, including expanding electric vehicle adoption and cutting greenhouse gas emissions. Innovating financing solutions for biodiversity and tourism. Thailand has an opportunity to lead the way in biodiversity conservation through biodiversity finance, with support from the European Union, the governments of Belgium, Canada, Flanders, France, Germany, Norway, Switzerland, the United Kingdom, and the Global Environment Facility, GEF, through the Biodiversity Finance Initiative, BioFin. The Biodiversity Finance Plan was incorporated into the 2023 to 2027 National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, NBSAP, in 2024, boosting investment in biodiversity conservation through integrating biodiversity targets into fiscal budgeting systems. Biodiversity finance solutions include environmental fees for high tourism areas shaped by the Got Tao model by UNDP and Krung Thai Bank, establishing a model for conservation financing while benefiting local communities. Public-private partnerships for investment in biodiversity, now piloted in Phetchaburi Province through a collaboration between UNDP, Phetchaburi Province, Krung Thai Bank, the Department of Marine and Coastal Resources, and the Office of Natural Resources and Environmental Policy and Planning, creating sustainable tourism through activities such as birdwatching. Capacity building in results-based budgeting for biodiversity, piloted in 15 local administrative organizations in 2025, with 321 local officers now supported with knowledge and tools. A picture of the governor of Phetchaburi and representatives from UNDP. There is a sentence, UNDP and Phetchaburi Province Agreement signing ceremony with Police Lieutenant Phopchanok Chalanukro, Governor of Phetchaburi in 2025. Promoting private sector engagement for SDGs. Over the past year, 75% of investments came from private sources, with the sector accounting for 90% of GDP, to direct capital where SDG priorities, government policy and market opportunities align. UNDP and the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, developed the SDG Investor Map. It identifies 15 investment opportunities in key sectors such as food and beverage, renewable energy, health services, transportation, finance, infrastructure services, and education. Through this collaboration, the SDG Guidebook for Businesses was launched to guide businesses of all sizes in mitigating risk and seizing opportunities aligned with each SDG, with 250 public-listed companies adopting this practice. The SDG Guidebook is also strengthening the SEC's ESG regulatory framework. UNDP further supported the integration of impact measurement and sustainable practices into business operations, aligning the private sector with climate adaptation, mitigation, and biodiversity conservation. Leveraging the guidebook, several SDG tools have been provided to the private sector. The Human Rights Due Diligence Handbook, developed by UNDP, the EU, and the Ministry of Justice, led to closed-door consultations with 27 companies employing approximately 230,000 people, while a training on rights-based business practices was delivered to 277 companies. Meanwhile, the Inclusion Toolkit created by UNDP, with support from the Government of Canada, advises businesses on fostering inclusive workplace. A picture of Police Colonel Tawi Sotsong and representatives from UNDP. There's a sentence, Police Colonel Tui Sot Song, Minister of Justice at the 6th UN Responsible Business and Human Rights Forum, Asia Pacific in 2024. Key results on sustainable financing in figures. $971 million plus financial resource mobilized from the public and private sectors to support green economy. $915 million plus from the public sector for green economy and policy innovation. $56 million plus from the private finance for green economy and SDG-aligned businesses. 2,000 plus people in local communities directly benefited from biodiversity conservation and livelihood interventions. 4. Tools introduced to drive sustainable business practices. 277 companies adopted sustainable business practices. 230,000 plus employees benefited from inclusive practices. Local budgeting for biodiversity conservation. Pakret City Municipality has been awarded the ASEAN Environmentally Sustainable Cities Award 2024 for its outstanding role in biodiversity conservation. With support from UNDP Biofin, the municipality has adopted effective budgeting practices and tracking mechanisms, drawing on case studies from Thailand and beyond, including Bhutan, to ensure tangible outcomes that promote biodiversity conservation. A picture of men and women all holding their thumbs up. Responsible business in action. Owners and employees of SMEs have strengthened their responsible business practices with close guidance and tools from UNDP's human rights due diligence process. They are now able to identify and address potential human rights violations in their business supply chains. A picture of men and women wearing hijab. A picture of the atmosphere in the meeting room. There is a sentence, the consultation on promoting SDG localization with 15 governors at the United Nations Conference Center in Bangkok. SDG localization, empowering local action. Accelerating national SDG achievement with local data. To effectively invest in the SDGs at scale, it is crucial to align and channel resources to the unique context of each local area, and this is where data plays a key role. Currently, only 64% of data on progress is available, with the focus primarily on the national level. This leaves decision makers unable to obtain the full information necessary to drive effective policies and interventions, especially at provincial and local levels. Thailand has significantly reduced poverty in past decades, but going forward with SDG achievement, growth must be less dependent on carbon emissions and more equitably distributed. The country's priorities center on an inclusive green transition that ensures opportunities are fair and supports sustainable living. To accelerate SDG achievement in Thailand, UNDP, the European Union, and the Ministry of Interior have developed the first ever SDG provincial profiles for Thailand covering 15 provinces in 2024. These profiles are based on a thorough SDG performance analysis of available data, multi-stakeholder consultations involving 1,043 local authorities and populations, and a public survey with over 6,000 respondents. The SDG profiles highlight performance gaps and opportunities for each province, enabling responsive planning and investment at the subnational level in terms of financial resources, technology, and human capital. The SDG profile methodology is set to expand to all 77 provinces, accelerating Thailand's national SDG progress. SDG profiles and overview. A picture of the map of Thailand. SDG profiles and overview. Picture of the map of Thailand divided into 4 zone colors. Green means northern region. Yellow means northeastern region. Red means central region. And blue means southern region. there is a number 15 pilot provinces. 1. Chiang Rai, 2. Chiang Mai, 3. Mae Hong Son, 4. Tạc, 5. Udon Thani, 6. Ubon Ratchathani, 7. Nakhon Ratchasima, 8. Bangkok, 9. Phetchaburi, 10. Surat Thani, 11. Phuket, 12. Songkhla, 13. Pattani, 14. Yala, 15. Narathiwat. Northern Region. Performance progress on health and climate action is challenged by healthcare gaps and air pollution. Opportunities: strengthen healthcare infrastructure, improve air quality, enhance cross-border trade, and promote sustainable tourism rooted in local culture. Northeastern Region. Performance: water shortages and disaster risk pose challenges. Opportunities: expand climate-resilient agriculture and enhance water management to promote livelihoods. Central Region. Performance: urban expansion and pollution highlight gaps in sustainable cities and responsible consumption. Opportunities: improve urban planning, waste management, and engage the private sector in promoting sustainable business practices. Southern Region. Performance: climate risk and environmental challenges have an impact on livelihoods and jobs. Opportunities: invest in disaster preparedness and strengthen cross-border trade and social cohesion. A picture of men and women standing in front of the event area. In the background, there is a sign said Sustainable Development Goals. There is a sentence, SDG Localization Campaign across 15 provinces. There is a picture of two men sitting at a meeting room. In the meeting table, there is a sentence, SDG Profiles Presentation with 77 governors. A picture of a woman wearing hijab talking on the microphone. There is a sentence, SDG Profiles Presentation with 77 governors. Advancing community-led solutions for the SDGs. Over $200,000 delivered to support 15 civil society organizations across 14 provinces, strengthening community-led solutions aligned with the SDGs. This investment enhanced the capacities of 3,904 local people, particularly vulnerable groups, through an entrepreneurship, poverty reduction, and environmental sustainability initiatives. Projects fostered inclusive participation, advancing women's empowerment, sustainable tourism, climate resilience, and disaster risk reduction. As a result, 200,706 hectares of land benefited from actions addressing climate change and forest encroachment, driven long-term local impact. Key results on SDG localization: 1,700 plus projects led by various stakeholders contributing to the SDGs, 15 SDG provincial profiles developed, 1,000 plus participants engaged in SDG profile development, $200,000 plus financial resource allocated to SDG-aligned projects across 14 provinces. 200,000 plus hectares of protected areas safeguarded from climate change and forest encroachment. 3,900 plus people across 14 provinces supported with knowledge, skills, and tools to advance the SDGs. 186 men, 339 women, 3,249 youth, and 130 individuals. Aggregated data. Community at the heart of wetland conservation. With UNDP grant support for SDG localization, communities dependent on the Bun Reang wetland forest have united to manage its ecosystem through activities like local product development, small-scale farming, forest monitoring, and conservation education, strengthening community resilience. Recognized with the Equator Prize, the wetland helps absorb greenhouse gases and preserve biodiversity. A picture of male and female farmers. community-driven low-carbon rubber practices. 304 rubber farming households in Tung Kham Community, Ratapum District, Songkhla Province, no longer burn agricultural waste from their rubber plantations. Instead, they recycle it into valuable products. With grant support from UNDP focused on Sdg localization, they are adopting agricultural practices that help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. A picture of men and women. A picture of a man walking past a large sign saying Sdg Localization Thailand's Journey Towards Sustainability. There is a sentence, Sdg Localization's Milestone Achievement at the United Nations Conference Center in Bangkok. A picture of two people wearing shoulder straps, equal marriage, walking together. Their faces is full of joy. There is a sentence, the LGBTI couple in front of Thailand's government house at the celebration ceremony for the equal marriage law. Photo credit, Chayanit Itipong Meiti. Social inclusion, moving towards and inclusive, equal future. A picture of a heart, very colorful heart. Promoting inclusive digital governance. Complex, uncertain, and interconnected problems challenge every country, including Thailand, and a linear approach is no longer sufficient. Bridging gaps between national and local governments and between governments and people is essential. UNDP is supporting Thailand in promoting inclusive digital governance across key sectors, including parliament and public policy, to advance responsive solutions. Thailand Policy Lab, in collaboration with Office of National Higher Education Science Research and Innovation Policy, NXPO, developed ourpolicy.org, incorporating features that promote inclusive and participatory policy development. Expected to be launched in 2025, it aims to support over 600 policymakers and officials across 20 ministries and the NESDC in enhancing cross-ministry collaboration and public engagement, targeting 1.2 million people by 2025. The Digital Needs Assessment and Support for the Development of a Digital Transformation Strategy for the National Assembly of Thailand, completed by UNDP and the National Assembly of Thailand, led to the adoption of recommendations designed to enhance participatory, inclusive legislative processes through e-documentation, e-voting, and digital communication strategies. It was an example of UNDP's focus on digital capacity and transformation. UNDP Accelerator Lab took part in the Digi Data Camp, organized by the Digital Government Development Agency, training over 1,500 government officers in data analytics and the development of actionable dashboards on critical issues such as poverty and energy consumption. A picture of a man standing on stage talking. There is a sentence, Policy Innovation Exchange 4 by TP Lab. A picture of a group of people taking photos together. In front, there is a sign saying Microsoft. There's a sentence, UNDP Accelerator Lab at the Digi Data Camp. Advancing rights for everyone. On gender equality and inclusion, UNDP and partners celebrate Thailand's milestone achievement in 2024, to which UNDP has contributed significantly over the past 10 years through early research, policy dialogues, and public advocacy. Thailand became the first country in Southeast Asia to pass an equal marriage law in 2024, granting marriage rights to approximately 6 million LGBTI people in Thailand. However, the work continues. Laws alone cannot change social norms and public attitudes. UNDP is actively supporting Thailand's legislative efforts on anti-discrimination, gender recognition, and the discrimination of sex work. Meanwhile, the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration became the first public institution in the Asia-Pacific to participate in UNDP's Gender Seal program, a certification initiative that helps organizations access and meet gender equality standards in the workplace. UNDP continues to strengthen women's leadership in politics with our partners. In collaboration with the Thai Women Parliamentarian CASAS, we supported 295 female MPs and parliamentary officers with strategies to counter bias and foster safer work environments. With UN Women, we help to improve gender-responsive budgeting with a revised handbook set for national distribution in 2025 and provided guidelines for gender focal points across government institutions on how to integrate gender considerations when planning and allocating financial resources. A picture of representatives from the BMA and UNDP taking photos together inside the meeting room. There's a sentence, UNDP and BMA agreement signing ceremony with Thawida Kamonwe, Deputy Governor of Bangkok, for participation in UNDP's Gender Seal program. People with disabilities, around 4.19 million, remained among the most vulnerable and marginalized groups in Thailand. In collaboration with the Ministry of Social Development and Human Security, Thai Health Promotion and Social Innovation Foundation, UNDP created the second Inclusion Job Fair, connecting more than 150 people with disabilities to 40 companies. On accessibility for people with disabilities, the UNDP Accelerator Lab developed accessible tourism prototypes in Songkhla, Suphonburi, and Sukhothai provinces through engagement with over 100 people with hearing and physical disabilities. These prototypes have the potential for nationwide adoption while also supporting local tourism entrepreneurs in 3 key tourism provinces with knowledge and capacity in disability inclusion. Additionally, 9,849 people nationwide completed the e-learning course on AI skills for AI-enabled tourism industry in Thailand, developed by UNDP in partnership with Microsoft, creating tourism opportunities for persons with disabilities in Thailand and opening inclusive tourism opportunities for 1.3 billion persons with disabilities worldwide. A picture of one person in a wheelchair and 2 persons standing in front of the toilet. There is a sentence, Inclusive Tourism Prototype designed in Suphanburi Province. A picture of a person putting down a bouquet of flowers on the wall. There is a sentence, Families and communities at Ban Nam Kem Tsunami Memorial Park commemorated those who lost their lives in the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami during its 20th anniversary. Photo credit Patipat Chantong. 2024 marked the 20th anniversary of the Indian Ocean tsunami, in which over 224,000 people lost their lives. In memory of that day and in honor of community resilience of Khao Lak in the face of disaster, UNDP, in partnership with the Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation (DPM) and Thai Public Broadcast Service, with support from the Government of Japan, brought together local communities, the government, diplomatic communities, and practitioners together to mark the anniversary. Learning from that tragedy, UNDP, with DPM and the Office of the Basic Education Commission, with funding from the Government of Japan, has focused on strengthening inclusive school preparedness for tsunamis and disasters, enhancing the resilience of around 8,000 students and school personnel in 240 schools, while ensuring that evacuation planning and disaster response not leaving people with disabilities behind. The Inclusive Tsunami Evacuation Plan has been adopted by 27,000 schools nationwide. Key results on social inclusion. 8,000 plus people trained in tsunami preparedness. 27,000 schools adopted inclusive tsunami evacuation plan. 14,000 plus people equipped with digital tools and capacity. 150 people with disabilities connected with job opportunities. The first, Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, is the first public institution in Asia Pacific participated in Gender SEAL program. Disaster Preparedness Champion Ratchadaporn Thanlek, Director of Chumchon Ban Saladan School, is a lead facilitator trained through the Partnership for Strengthening School Tsunami Preparedness Project. With support from the project, her school is one of 244 that have developed comprehensive tsunami evacuation plans, ensuring the inclusion of students and staff with disabilities. Inspired by her own experience, Ratchadaporn is committed to conducting regular drills and fostering a culture of safety and preparedness at her school. Picture of a woman holding a sign saying, "When there is tsunami, our school must be safe. We do not leave anyone behind." The rights to family for all. Jim, a transgender man, and his wife recently registered their marriage after Thailand's equal marriage law took effect in January 2025. This historic change offers recognition, security, and the right to build a future together for Jim, his wife, and many other couples. As an advocate with APCOM, Jim has collaborated with UNDP for years on laws and policies promoting equal rights, inclusive workplaces, and community empowerment. A picture of Jim and his wife. A picture of two people standing in front of a backdrop consisting of individual profiles. There is a sentence, "Inclusive Job Fair in 2025. A picture of a group of youth holding a sign saying TK Camp 0 to Heroes Origin, taking pictures together in front of a sign saying Kampon Julapon 9, Julapon 9 Village. There is a sentence, "Young Local Heroes Program in Yala Province." Agents of Change, promoting civic space. A picture of a person's face with clouds around. Driving accountability and transparency through Parliament leadership. Parliament is a powerful agent of change, representing people's priorities and voices in crafting Thailand's legislation and supporting accountable, transparent decision-making. In 2024, with technical assistance and inclusive consultation, UNDP supported the development of 43 laws and policies, as well as the passage of 4 important laws: marriage equality, citizenship for undocumented and stateless persons, a social welfare card for persons with disabilities, and healthcare rights for migrant workers, laws that will benefit around 19 million people. In addition to working on gender-responsive policy and budgeting, see page 44. With partners, UNDP strengthened parliamentary engagement on climate action. In 2024, UNDP and the National Assembly of Thailand developed the Climate Finance Handbook, supporting MPs with guidance to mobilize resources for climate action in local areas and promote transparency in climate-related public spending. Over 100 MPs were trained in environmental management for climate resilience, centering the planet when creating policies and laws. A picture of a group of people taking photos together with their right hand up in the air. There is a sentence, UNDP, together with Wan Muhammad Normatar, President of the National Assembly, support the Green Parliament driving climate action. Building a just society through judicial leadership. The judicial sector is a crucial agent of change, driving a just society through the rule of law, human rights protection, and equal access to justice. Working with the Judicial Training Institute and Office of the Judiciary, 250 judges were trained on systematic violence within the criminal justice system and climate justice. Case studies of anti-SLAPP laws in other countries were also introduced to create awareness among judicial officers aimed to reinforce protections for rights defenders and civil society in exercising their rights of speech to human rights violations from both the public and private sectors. The effort has supported the operation of the Justice Fund by the Ministry of Justice, which provides legal aid to individuals whose human rights have been violated by By 2024, 3,094 people have accessed this service. A picture of a group of people sitting in the meeting room. There's a sentence. Judges as judicial officers participated in UNDP's GIN ASEAN program. Creating a future-ready society through youth empowerment. Youth is a driving force of change in shaping an inclusive, sustainable future towards climate action through collaboration between the Department of Climate Change and Environment, the National Assembly of Thailand, and UNDP, 2 young representatives among 331 youth advocates engaged with UNDP and 21 youth networks for climate action participated in COP29 in Azerbaijan. They shared their voices in the global climate dialogues, promoting transparent emission data and resilience for communities in affected areas. In participatory policy making, 37 young civil servants took part in policy innovation and knowledge transfer program organized by the Educational Institutions and Civil Servants Training Institute and the TP Lab. As future policy planners across various ministries, they were introduced to people-centered, innovative approaches for policy planning at the early stage of their bureaucratic journey. Meanwhile, 559 university students and newly appointed policy planners at NESDC completed a course on public policy innovation co-developed by the TP Lab and multiple universities, marking a shift from conventional policy making to new innovative approaches. Young entrepreneurship has been fostered in 4 provinces, Mae Hong Son, Narathiwat, Pattani, and Yala, under the Local Heroes program led by the UNDP Accelerator Lab and Youth Co-Lab. 229 youth and 40 partners were trained in social innovation and entrepreneurship. The innovative solutions they lead address local challenges such as waste management, air pollution, climate change, and biodiversity loss. A picture of a group of people sitting and also standing up taking photos together. There is a sentence. Young civil servants participated in the Policy Innovation and Knowledge Transfer Program. Harnessing the power of media as agents of change. Media is more important than ever in tackling misinformation, protecting human rights, and promoting social inclusion. As a strong agent of change, media accelerates SDG achievement. In collaboration with Chulalongkorn University, the Thai Media Fund, the Thai Journalist Association of Thailand, and the National Broadcasting and Telecommunications Commission, UNDP launched the Media Fellowship Program on Sustainable Development, focusing on disability inclusion, gender equality, climate and business and human rights. Over 70 media professionals from across Thailand, both traditional and online, participated to integrate sustainable development into mainstream reporting, intertwining social, economic, and environmental aspects into their features while connecting global challenges to local realities. Beyond training, they engage with scientists, practitioners, policy planners, and civil society to enhance evidence-based reporting. The fellowship demonstrated impact during Thailand's 2024 severe flooding, with 40 journalists shifting focus from immediate damage to the broader implications for vulnerable groups such as persons with disabilities. Their published stories, as required by the fellowship, reached 33.7 million Facebook users by 2024. A picture of a man talking on a microphone, audience listening all around him. There's a sentence, UNDP Media Fellowship Program on Sustainable Development, bringing nature and climate change closer to people to promote climate action. Key results on agents of change. 18 million plus people benefited from inclusion laws. 6 million plus LGBTI people the rights to form a family from the marriage equality law. 2.23 million people with disabilities, 10,000 Thai baht social welfare card. 4.83 million stateless people, citizenship. 5.2 million migrant workers' healthcare rights. 43 laws and policies advocated through parliamentary mechanisms, social inclusion, digital governance, inclusive growth, climate action. 1.9 thousand plus agents of change that UNDP supported, 1.3 thousand plus youth, 295 parliamentarians, 250 judges, 70 plus media professionals, 4 laws approved and/or enforced by the Cabinet: marriage equality law, citizenship for undocumented and stateless persons, 10,000 Thai baht social welfare card for persons with disabilities, healthcare rights for migrant workers. Driving change through the power of media. ณฐาภพสังเกต and ณัฐนิชาผู้คล้าย young journalists participating in the UNDP Media Fellowship Program are driving change for safe, inclusive workplaces and policies that promote the rights of people with disabilities, LGBTI people, and migrant workers. Through their in-depth evidence-based coverage, they spark wide discussions across news platforms and send powerful messages to policy planners and stakeholders. A picture of ณฐาภพสังเกต and ณัฐนิชาผู้คล้าย Youth for a Climate Resilient Future, กนกพรร่วมวง left, and พิทยาพรพุทธศิลป์ right, young environmental advocates, represented youth voices in international policy dialogues at COP29 in Azerbaijan, promoting climate policies that take the impact on younger generations into account. Working closely with UNDP and the DCCE, they gained hands-on experience from practitioners in the field of climate change and regularly take part in national policy dialogues. A picture of กนกพรร่วมวง and พิทยาพรพุทธศิลป์ A picture of a woman in a hijab speaking through a microphone. The background, there's a board with colorful posters. There is a sentence, Young Local Heroes Program in Yala Province. UN Family, Inclusive Sustainable Partnerships. In Thailand, the United Nations works as a family to accelerate progress towards the SDGs. Through joint interventions, we accelerate progress by advancing the climate promise, promoting business and human rights, and fostering social inclusion. UNDP supporting the UN country team in contributing to Thailand's NDC 3.0 by mapping UN-wide synergies and introducing a climate finance framework that channels resources toward climate action. In collaboration with UNIDO and UNEP, UNDP is engaging executive leaders in the public sector to align national initiatives with the green economy, leveraging the United Nations Partnership for Action and Green Economy (PAGE) mechanism. To advance climate resilience, UNDP works with FAO through the Scala project, supporting the government and farmers in adopting climate-smart agricultural practices. As part of the joint Sdg Fund, a coalition of 31 UN agencies, UNDP is driving strategic investments and localization of efforts. In Thailand, we are collaborating with the resident coordinator and UN Habitat to strengthen subnational policies and scale high-impact local initiatives in Udon Thani and Surat Thani provinces. Through data-driven decision-making, we are working to mobilize investments via an impact-linked finance fund. Since 2021, UNDP, ILO, and IOM have partnered to promote labor rights through standardized human rights due diligence for businesses with over 426 companies. In collaboration with UN Women and UNFPA, we work on empowering women and ending gender-based violence through awareness-raising campaigns, alongside tools that support resource mobilization and the consolidation of gender data. Rewards and recognition. Thailand Policy Lab's Mental Health Policy for Youth by Youth Project won the Policy Innovation Award 2024 from the National Innovation Agency. A picture of award presenting. Thailand Policy Lab's Policy Innovation course, co-developed with Thammasat University's Faculty of Political Science, received the Active Learning Award 2024 from the Thammasat University. A picture of a group of Thammasat students. Pakret City Municipality, in collaboration with UNDP Biofin, received the ASEAN Environmentally Sustainable Cities Award 2024 for its role in biodiversity conservation through local budgeting. A picture of representatives from Pakret City Municipality receiving the award. UNDP Thailand was selected by Mirror Thailand, a media outlet focused on gender-related issues, as one of 50 outstanding changemakers in 2024. A picture of an award by Mirror Thailand for advocacy for the rights of women and LGBTI people. Thailand Country Office's communications team was the first runner-up in the social media reels category at the Digital Communications Awards 2024, hosted by UNDP's Bureau of External Relations and Advocacy for the Weather Kids campaign launched in Thailand. A picture of a girl doing the weather forecast. South-South Cooperation. Practices and solutions for urban resilience were exchanged by over 20 cities in the Asia-Pacific at the Regional Forum on Reimagining Urban Governance in Asia and the Pacific, co-hosted by UNDP and the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration in November 2024. Equitable people-centered judicial practices were shaped by judges, lawyers, and judicial officers from across the Asia-Pacific at the Regional Conference on Achieving Just Societies, Inclusive Justice Pathways for People and Planet in Asia and the Pacific, organized by UNDP, the Thailand Institute of Justice and Partners in November 2024. A just access to remedy were promoted by businesses, government agencies, and civil society from across the Asia-Pacific at the Regional Forum on the Remedy Blueprint, Bridging Gaps and Accelerating Access, co-organized by UNDP and partners in 2024. Tools and practices for local budgeting for biodiversity conservation were exchanged between UNDP Biofin Thailand and UNDP Biofin Bhutan in 2024, supporting municipalities like Pakret City Municipality in planning budgets that deliver tangible outcomes for biodiversity conservation. A picture of a man giving information to a woman wearing Sustainable Development Goals shirt in a palm tree farm. There is a sentence, the community-led sugar palm in Phetchaburi province, where UNDP Biofin supports the biodiversity-based economy. UNDP Policy Insights for Thailand. UNDP works with partners across Thailand to co-develop policy insights, frameworks, and tools that support all sectors in achieving an inclusive and sustainable future. A picture of a cover of a book and QR code. Climate, Nature, Energy. Thailand's first biennial transparency report. Climate Change Action Plan for the Agricultural Sector. Integrating climate change, gender, and social inclusion into planning and budgeting in Thailand. 2023 to 2027 National Biodiversity Action Plan, NBSAP. Supporting the just transition to electric vehicles. Incentivizing the use of electric vehicles. SDG indicators mapping with electric vehicles adoption. Advancing innovation in fuel cell electric vehicles, strategic insights for the Thai market, life cycle analysis of EV manufacturing, analysis of EV battery end of life, sustainable financing, building MSME resilience in Southeast Asia, insurance and risk finance for Thailand, a roadmap. Human Rights Due Diligence Handbook for Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Inclusive Toolkit for Organizations and Business, Sdg Localisation, 15 Sdg Provincial Profiles, Integrated Sdg Insights Report, Thailand. Policy Innovation. Policy Innovation Handbook by Thailand Policy Lab. Policy Hackathon Handbook by Thailand Policy Lab. Agents of Change. A public perception survey on social cohesion and resilience to violent extremism. The protection of human rights defenders in the context of business and human rights. Laws and measures addressing strategic lawsuits against public participation, SLAPPS, in the context of business and human rights. Human Development. Human Development Report 2023 to 2024. Global and Thailand's Progress. Asia Pacific Human Development Report 2024, Making Our Future, New Directions for Human Development. UNDP Funding. 2024 UNDP expenditures per SDGs. 29.8% equals to $4.46 million. Climate Action, $1.42 million. No Poverty, $1.35 million. Reduce Inequalities, $890,710.87. Partnership for the Goals, $800,280.98. Life on Land, $341,641.25. Responsible Consumption and Production, $504,309.63. Peace, Justice and Strong Institutions, $515,051.06. UNDP Contribution to Gender Equality. Percentage of expenditure per gender marker. UNDP introduced the gender marker in 2009 as a tool to track the organization's contribution to gender equality, with ratings ranging from Gen 0 to Gen 3. In 2024, 75% of the Thailand country office's contributions to gender equality are marked as Gen 2, while 25% of its projects are marked as Gen 1. Silver Gender Equality Seal. Thailand Country's Office has achieved the Silver Gender Equality Seal, a corporate standard recognizing our strong commitment to gender equality and inclusive development, both within our workplace and through our programming. Contributing Partners. UNDP thanks all of our partners at core and local partners for the contributions in 2024. In 2024, UNDP in Thailand mobilized over $7.6 million for Thailand's development journey from international donors, trust funds, the Royal Thai government, national agencies, and UN agencies. Contributors: Vertical Fund, Green Climate Fund, $5,192,698. Vertical Fund, GEF, $1,412,135.32. European Union, $766,403.87. UNDP's core contribution, $483,303.12. Multi-partner trust funds, $132,680. Government of Thailand, $106,057.58. Academic Training and Research Institutes, $45,769.34. UN agencies, $1,436.64. Total, $8,140,483.87. Highlights: 68% of total resources from the Green Climate Fund, GCF, supported climate adaptation and resilience. 18% of total resources from the Global Environment Facility, GEF, contributed to national climate and biodiversity policy development and reporting. 10% of total resources from the European Union promoted Sdg Localisation and business and human rights. 6% of total resources from the UNDP's core contribution are leveraged to promote social inclusion, inclusive governance, and the SDGs in Thailand. $106,000 from the Royal Thai government supported policy innovation to tackle complex challenges. UNDP's core contributions are supported by over 10 countries, international organizations, and funds. Top contributors to UNDP Global. With thanks to top contributors to UNDP globally, UNDP mobilized over $7.6 million for sustainable development from international donors, trust funds, the Royal Thai government, national agencies, and UN agencies. The Global Fund, Germany, European Union, Argentina, Japan, Multi-Partner Trust Fund, Norway, United States of America, Sweden, Global Environment Facility, Green Climate Fund, Republic of Korea, Denmark, Netherlands, Switzerland, United Kingdom, Canada, World Bank Group, Guatemala, Dominica. Highlights: 2% increase in core funding, regular resources, core contributions received in 2024 increased to $580 million from $566 million in 2023. 10 partners increased their contribution to regular resources: Germany, United States, Netherlands, Republic of Korea, France, Spain, India, Luxembourg, China, and Austria. 12 partners had multi-year pledges to contribute regular resources: Australia, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Luxembourg, Ireland, Netherlands, New Zealand, Qatar, Sweden, Switzerland, and Turkey. 6% increase in funding windows. Contributions from thematic funding windows increased to $133 million from $126 million in 2023. Developing countries contributed a quarter of total resources. Developing countries invested $1.2 billion of their own resources in UNDP programs in their own countries in 2024. Where UNDP works in Thailand. Our efforts go far beyond Thailand, reaching over 30 provinces across the country. We work to strengthen climate and nature action, channel and scale investment for the SDGs, and promote responsible business practices while ensuring that no one is left behind. Our policies and solutions are designed to respond to the diverse needs of different communities and population groups throughout Thailand. A picture of the map of Thailand. เชียงใหม่ แม่ฮ่องสอน ลำปาง เชียงราย พะเยา น่าน ตาก เพชรบูรณ์ กำแพงเพชร หนองคาย เลย อุดรธานี กาฬสินธุ์ ขอนแก่น มหาสารคาม นครราชสีมา บุรีรัมย์ สุรินทร์ ศรีสะเกษ อุทัยธานี ชัยนาท กาญจนบุรี นครนายก ปทุมธานี แบงคอก สมุทรปราการ ฉะเชิงเทรา ชลบุรี พัทยา นนทบุรี ราชบุรี สมุทรสาคร สมุทรสงคราม เพชรบุรี ประจวบคีรีขันธ์ ระนอง พังงา ภูเก็ต กระบี่ ตรัง สตูล ยะลา เกาะเต่า เกาะสมุย สุราษฎร์ธานี นครศรีธรรมราช พัทลุง สงขลา ปัตตานี นราธิวาส UNDP team in Thailand. A picture of the staff of UNDP taking photos together in the lawn. Working with UNDP is not just a job, it is a vocation. We focus on empowering our people to consistently deliver better and stronger results with the People for 2030 strategy, which builds capabilities and creates an inclusive, equitable work culture where innovation and experimentation thrive. UNDP has a diverse and talented country office in Thailand with expertise spanning climate, biodiversity and energy, economics and finance, innovation and policy design, justice and governance, and communications. A team with the depth and breadth necessary to pursue systemic and integrated development results. Our diverse and inclusive team draws its talent mainly from Thailand, Thai nationals, and from other countries, including France, Ireland, Italy, Kazakhstan, and Pakistan. The country team benefits from being the next-door neighbor of UNDP's regional hub for Asia and the Pacific, which means that UNDP's best expertise from across the world is on hand in real time to support Thailand's development journey. List of acronyms: AI, Artificial Intelligence, BEDO, Biodiversity-Based Economic Development Office. BioFin, Biodiversity Finance Initiative. BMA, Bangkok Metropolitan Administration. BTR, Biennial Transparency Report. CSO, Civil Society Organization. DCCE, Department of Climate Change and Environment. DPPM, Department of Disaster Prevention and Mitigation. ESG, Environment, Social and Corporate Governance. EU, European Union, EV, Electric Vehicle. FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization. GCF, Green Climate Fund. GEF, Global Environment Facility. GHG, Greenhouse Gases. HDI, Human Development Index. HRDD, Human Rights Due Diligence. ILO, International Labour Organization. INFF, Integrated National Financing Framework. IOM, International Organization for Migration. IRFF, Insurance and Risk Finance Facility. KPI, Key Performance Indicator. LGBTI, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and intersex. MP, Member of Parliament. NAP, National Adaptation Plan. NBSAP, National Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan. NCS, National Communications. NDC, Nationally Determined Contribution. NESDC, National Economic and Social Development Council. NGO, Non-Governmental Organization. NXPO, Office of National Higher Education Science Research and Innovation Policy. OBEC, Office of the Basic Educational Commission. ONEP, Office of Natural Resources and Environmental Policy and Planning. OTP, Office of Transport and Traffic Policy and Planning. PAGE, Partnership for Action on Green Economy. SCALA, Scaling Up Climate Ambition on Land Use and Agriculture through Nationally Determined Contributions and National Adaptation Plans. SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. SLAPP, Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation. Thai PBS, Thai Public Broadcasting Service. TP Lab, Thailand Policy Lab. UN, United Nations. UNCT, United Nations Country Team. UNDP, United Nations Development Program. UNEP, United Nations Environment Program. UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. UN Habitat, United Nations Human Settlements Program. UNFPA, United Nations Population Fund. UNIDO, United Nations Industrial Development Organization. UN Women, United Nations Entity for Gender Equality and the Empowerment of Women. Neve Collier-Smith, Resident Representative. Irina Koryunova, Deputy Resident Representative. Gan Klon Raktam, Communications and Outreach Analyst. Annual Report, Focal Point and Writer. This report has been prepared with inputs from program officers and project managers. Photo cover credit, Jittiwat Pon Prasert. Designed by Nawapan Dermbam-Pit, Patson, Asawa Pirom and team. Telephone +6606 5194 1495 +660 85196 5514. Back cover. United Nations Development Program, 14th floor United Nations Building, Ratchadamnern Nok Avenue, Bang Khun Prom, Pranakorn, Bangkok, 10200 Thailand. Email undp.thailand@undp.org. Telephone number +662 288 3350. Facebook, UNDP Thailand. X, UNDP Thailand. YouTube, UNDP Thailand. Instagram, UNDP Thailand. LinkedIn, UNDP Thailand. TikTok, UNDP Thailand.